Ki Jai.
Paraparaji Ki Jai.
All victory and glory to God the Beloved.
All victory and glory to God the Beloved.
Om Soham Tetvamasi. Om, you and I are one with the one universal God of all creation and no other. Jai Bhagwanji, victory to God the Beloved, that beloved universal I am, that I am, which you are. Tonight we're going to talk about enlightenment. You know what? We get so hung up on words in our society. When I say the word God, I see some people cringe. Oh, no. If I were to say Brahma, Vishnu, or Shiva, I'd see other people cringe. It's all words, folks. Now, it's not true that what's behind it is all words, but we're using words to point at things. See, if I say globe, I can point at this, right?
Yes.
And you know what I'm talking about, except for this thing around it, which I'll explain later, maybe. But if I say God, you go, oh, no, it's Jehovah, the accuser, the punisher, it's the devil, it's Christianity, it's Allah, it's, everything that you've ever thought about. And yet, all we're talking about here is words. Now, what's behind those words is crucial. Not every person who thinks that they're worshiping God is really worshiping God. But not every person who thinks that they're worshiping God isn't either, just because they don't agree with you, or with you, or with you, or with you, or with you. That, of course, is what's called bigotry. And it, in and of itself, it's just kind of silly. But what it represents is not silly at all, because what it represents is that you, if you are a bigot, have set yourself up as God, as judge and jury of what is true and what isn't true, of what is real and what isn't real. And you're not. You're not qualified to be the judge or the jury of such things. Up here on this Maitreyan creed, it says there is one universal God, manifest and unmanifest, personal and impersonal, immanent and transcendent. There is no other. There's no other. We don't know in our minds exactly what that something is. Buddha, when he attained nirvana, and when he attained enlightenment, full enlightenment, he called it nirvana. The Hindus call it samadhi, or mahasamadhi. It's called self-realization. It's called God-realization. It's called so many names by so many different people. And what do? They fight one another. And you see, when you find somebody who can't hold on to his truth or her truth without demolishing everyone else's truth, my friends, you've just found a sick person. It's the sickness that destroys civilizations. It's the sickness that will eventually destroy this world here. So what is enlightenment? Well, enlightenment is defined in the dictionary as that which sets one free from rebirth. Oh, you don't believe in rebirth, do you? I can tell. Well, you know, it's a bit of a kind of a lame gag, but the truth is I didn't believe in reincarnation last time I was here either. Whether you believe in it or not doesn't make it true or false. I have an old friend who I was talking to one of my Maitreyans. Maitreyans are people who follow my way, follow me, and said, "He's a liar," talking about me. "He's a liar." And she said, "How do you know he's a liar?" I said, "Well, I believe he's a liar." "Well, why do you believe he's a liar?" "Because it doesn't say he's real in my book." You know, I've never read a Ford manual in my life that said Chevrolets were the greatest cars on earth. Now, I'm not trying to insult the Bible or the Quran or the Bhagavad Gita or the Buddhist scriptures or anything else, but the point that I'm trying to make is that, of course, I'm not in his book. And if you want to follow your way of your book, God bless you. Buddha bless you. Allah bless you. Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva bless you. Just stay off my face and out of my face. See? But people don't stay off of people's faces and out of people's faces because there are certain people in this world that can only have a single valued logic, and if you are not part of it, then you are, well, they would like to say that you're wrong. But unfortunately, they're not usually very good at arguing their point. So what they do is, after trying to argue it unsuccessfully for a certain period of time, they come down to saying, "You're evil. Burn him, kill him, hack him up in little pieces, feed him to the fish." That way we don't have to argue. That way my ignorance, my foolishness, my stupidity, my bigotry doesn't have to be exposed. We just kill him. It's easy. Been going on for a long time. So, what is this thing called enlightenment? First of all, it doesn't have anything to do with these clothes. It doesn't have anything to do with this hair, with it or without it. It doesn't have anything to do with whether I got too much stuff right here in the middle or whether I'm, buffed out. It doesn't have anything to do with whether I eat vegetarian food or if I don't. Oh, God, if it was only that easy, that all we had to do is eat vegetables, it would be enlightened. It would be so wonderful. And for those of you who pretend or think that you're followers of Sakyamuni Buddha, the original Buddha, I would like to point out that Buddha died from eating bad meat. He died from eating bad meat. That's how much he thought of the prohibition against eating meat. The prohibition wasn't against eating meat, it was against killing animals. If you didn't kill the animal, it's a different story. Oh, how well I know that. I've only been fishing once in my life. It was a horrible experience for me. I love animals. I don't begrudge people owning a gun for self-protection or to protect their family or their home. But I would not pass a law against someone going out hunting. I just couldn't do it. So my mentor, my guardian, was many, many years ago when I was a young man, took me fishing in a little pond, a little lake. And I caught a fish. And there I was, standing over this thing going, and I said, "What do I do with it?" He said, "Hit its head on a rock." I went, "Oh." I hit its head on a rock and it died. I felt so bad about that fish that when it came time to have dinner, he had it all cooked up real nice and everything. I went and opened a can of tuna fish. You don't think those guys laughed me out of the camp? He won't eat the fish he killed, but he'll eat tuna fish. I didn't kill the tuna fish. I killed the fish. And I felt so bad. That haunted me for weeks, believe it or not, that I killed this fish. I am definitely not a fisherman. If I had to hunt to live, I would. Yeah. But I'm not going to hunt just so I can have somebody's antlers on my wall. Oh. If you want to do that, God be with you. God bless you. It's your right. And I know that it's part of the tradition of fierce individualism. I'm such a softy when it comes to animals that unless I had to do it to eat, I wouldn't do it. So it's not vegetarianism. It's not what you eat, it's what eats you that keeps you from being enlightened. So Buddha died of eating bad meat. What can I tell you? Read, Google it. Google it if you don't believe me. You people who are trying to justify being vegetarians. on the basis of the fact that you are somewhat Buddhistic. In the first place, you don't have to justify being a vegetarian. Just don't try to force the guy next to you to be a vegetarian. You don't have to justify being a Christian. Just don't try to force the guy next to you to be a Christian. You don't have to justify being a Muslim, a Buddhist, a Hindu, a Sikh, or anything else. Just don't try to force the guy next to you to be what you are, just so you'll feel more secure in your faith. Enlightenment is an internal thing. Enlightenment is something that doesn't have to do with your body. It doesn't have to do with it has very little to do with your mind, to tell you the truth. And that will disappoint the Marxists, the socialists, and the communists among you who believe that Buddha taught that there is no God, it's all a matter of psychology. He didn't teach that. In fact, fundamentally what Buddha said is this: how can you possibly expect to experience God until you can control your mind for one solid minute? And who can do that? If we had people who could do that, we'd have a different government. We'd have a different system of international relations. Our technology is far ahead of our wisdom. And so enlightenment becomes important. And what is enlightenment? Enlightenment is direct experience, direct knowledge of yourself as one with the totality of existence, which most people who get tired of using long, drawn-out terms call God. Now, when I'm talking about God, I'm not talking about the Christian God, the Buddhist God, the Muslim God, definition of God, or any of these other things. I'm talking about that which is both the essence of all creation, which is within all creation, and yet which is beyond all creation. Now, my old friend said to this Maitreya, "You mean to tell me that that pile of dog poop on the sidewalk there, that's God?" No, what I mean to tell you is that that pile of dog poop on the sidewalk there is not really just a pile of dog poop. It is a collection of molecules, atoms, electrons, subatomic particles, and everything else. And if you leave it there long enough, those particles will go back into the pool of universal existence from which they came.
What a difference.
Well, it's a fact.
Yeah.
Google it if you have to. So, you see, what he sees as a pile of dog poop on the sidewalk is a temporary condition of a whole collection of molecules, atoms, electrons, and subatomic particles, configured as that dog poop for a short period of time. Very short period of time. It'll disappear quickly if you just leave it alone. And where does that energy go? Where do those subatomic particles go? Where do those molecules and those electrons, those neutrons, those protons, where do they go? They go back into the universal pool that encompasses all of creation. That not only is all creation, but encompasses all of creation. So you see, whether you call it self-realization or enlightenment, has an important distinction, but it really isn't anything you need to go to war over.
Yeah.
When you receive initiation, and we call it holy initiation, because it is a spiritual act, not a physical act. When you receive my holy initiation, you receive 4 treasures, and one of them is the seed of true enlightenment. And you notice I said the seed of true enlightenment. It's kind of like if you came here and I had let's say, carrot seeds. And I said, here's some carrot seeds. And you went, oh, good. And you stuffed them in your pocket. And then when you washed your clothes, they went into the washer and the dryer. What good is that? But if you take those seeds out and you plant them, and you tend them and you water them, then eventually they're going to grow into carrots. Or into a peach tree or an apple tree. Something of that sort. So you receive the seed of true enlightenment. And that's why we say that holy initiation is the true enlightenment of holy initiation. You receive this seed into your heart, into your very spirit. Now what you do with it from there on out is your business. I am not going to run around after you with a stick and whack you on the back if you don't do anything with it. Because it's yours from there on out. You can either grow it or you can blow it. The choice is yours. Because there is something called free will. And not even God, not even the Christian God, will force you to give up your free will. And so this larger, this more universal concept of God isn't going to do that either. You have the free will to waste this seed or to grow it. And that depends on what you do when you walk out this door with my holy initiation in your heart. Now, this has implications that go way beyond the individual. Believe me, the individual is important. There's no such thing, dear President of the United States, as collective freedom. Collective freedom is slavery. Collective freedom is just a tricky word for slavery. The only kind of true freedom there is individual freedom. And nobody can take that away from you. Oh, they can say, if you don't do this, I'll take your life. And if life is that dear to you that you will give up your free will, then you can be made a slave. But they can't actually make you do it, because the only thing they can do is torture you and kill you. They kill you, you didn't do it. They lose. Oh, you lost your life. Yeah, but you lost the bet. So we have, what you have to understand here is that there are two kinds of teachers in this world. There are the kinds of teachers of enlightenment, or the spreaders of enlightenment, that have a path. And don't we love that word, path? We're just path happy. What path are you on? I don't know, path. That's like people used to say, well, what's your astrological sign? Before that, they said, what's the name of your psychiatrist? Well, my psychiatrist is Joe Blow. What's the name of yours? This was cocktail party stuff. And it still is. Still is. So, there are teachers who propose a path that you walk along, and eventually you become enlightened.
Oh. Wow.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool, isn't it? I'm not one of those. No, I'm not one of those. Due to a remarkable occurrence that happened when I was 8 years old, when I died to this world and went into that ocean, which Buddha called nirvana, which the Hindus call samadhi and mahasamadhi, and which I simply call either parat para, which means God beyond all concepts and definitions of God, or God, if I'm into short, one-syllable words. Because of that, because having gone into that ocean, like a drop of water falling into the ocean, and having become that ocean for a time, I have acquired a gift. You could call it the gift from the ocean. And that gift is that I can transmit the seed of true enlightenment to any person, anytime, any place, either personally or through someone else. We have several people here who have received it a long time ago. and who've grown it. And as long as you have it, you can give it. Obviously, it's kind of an oxymoron that if you don't have it, you can't give it. I would even go so far as to say if you don't give it, you don't have it. Because it is in giving that we have something. It is in giving that we receive. These axioms, these so-called cliches, are quite true. It is more blessed to give than it is to receive. And it is in the act of giving, especially when it comes to enlightenment, that you receive. Your enlightenment grows as you share it with others. Now, when you share my holy initiation with others, when you share true enlightenment with others through my holy initiation, then so do I. I give it through you. And that universal beingness, which I'm referring to as the ocean for the moment, for the time being, gives it too, through you. And then when that other person has it and goes out to give it to somebody else, then we give it through that person. And it is in the giving of it that it grows within you. Oh, I know this is not what you expect. What you expect is for me to say, well, you sit in the lotus posture like this, and you inhale. Oh, you exhale. And then you chant this mantra. And then you will become enlightened. That is the path. That is the path. You can do the path. But I am not a teacher of the path. Now, why is it that I'm not a teacher of the path? It's very simple. Because I never followed a path to get there. I never followed a path to get there. And please, all of you who are used to pretzelizing your minds, twisting them into any old necessary configuration so as to make things come out the way you would like them to be, take a deep breath, take a seat, relax, okay? Because I didn't. I don't care what you say, I followed no path to get there.
Wow.
I will explain. When I was 8 years old, I lived in Iowa, Des Moines, Iowa, 1335 41st Street. Google it. In the basement, there was a flight of stairs that went down to the basement. It was a whole flight of stairs, like from there to here. And my dad had a little bit of a workshop down there. And I would sit on the stairs. Now, we didn't have a railing on the stairs because we didn't have OSHA. We didn't have the government prying into every nook and cranny of our lives. And that wasn't necessarily good in this case, but it worked out okay. And I was sitting there watching my dad, and my little brother came up and he jumped on me. I knew we were going to fall off the stairs, so I grabbed him and went off backwards and bam! Down on the concrete. My head. Back of my head. And I died. For a short time, I died. Short time with regard to this world. You die a long time with regard to this world, you don't come back. But during that time, without going through all of the details, what happened is the drop of water went back into the sea and became the sea once again. That's where we come from. That's where we return to. I don't care how many heavens or hells or paradises or torments you may go through in between. That's where you come from and that's where you return to eventually. But oh Lordy, eventually can mean a couple trillion lifetimes. And lifetimes are not all that fun sometimes. Oh, you're probably having a pretty good one right now if you're watching this on a computer or on YouTube or something like that. You are having a good life. Because otherwise, you'd be sitting in some dusty field with a belly stuck out about this big from eating dirt because you haven't had anything to eat. And you're about 2 years old and you're dying. There's a lot of not nice stuff in this world. A lot of not nice lives. But right now you got a good one. So, how would you say that I followed a path?
Yeah.
What is it, the falling off the stairs path on your head?
Oh, no.
Or the falling off the stairs on your head path?
Don't do that.
Don't try this at home, as they say on television. It's not going to get you there. I don't know why it got me there. For some reason that is completely unbeknownst to me. Now people have said, well, it's because you sacrificed yourself for your brother. I don't know. If you know, you're a better person than me, because I don't know. I have no idea why. But for whatever reason, that ocean wanted me back for a visit. God wanted me to come visit. And I did. And then he turned around and sent me back here. With one marching order. That was, find your way back to me of your own doing and your own works. Took me 23 years to find the way to get back home into that ocean. But I did. You won't like it. You won't like it and you won't follow it. So I'm not a teacher of a path, am I? I can teach it to you. And it kind of comes down to this. Become so desperate that you would rather have what I call perfect final union with God or the ocean than you would rather have your next breath. You're not going to follow that, are you? Fortunately, you don't have to. Fortunately, you don't have to. Because the ocean gave me the power, the authority, the anointing, and the ordination to give you this gift of true enlightenment, which, if you hold on to it, if you treasure it, if you fulfill it by following the conditions that go with it to the end of your life, you will go back to the ocean and not have to go around this endless wheel of birth, life, suffering, fear, pain, sickness, old age, death, and rebirth again and again and again 1 trillion times. So you only have to do one thing. You don't have, it doesn't have anything to do with eating vegetables. It doesn't have anything to do with pranayama. It doesn't have anything to do with asana. It doesn't have anything much to do with pratyahara or dhyana. These are all yogic terms for you yogis out there. You can roll up your mat and put it away. Or just use it for exercise. What it has to do with this is this simple thing. Because the condition that was put on this, when this gift was given to me, is this. Whosoever will receive the true enlightenment of your holy initiation and follow you to the end of his or her life will come home and be part of the ocean at the end of this life. At the end of this life. And since you've received the seed of true enlightenment at the time you receive holy initiation, if you really want to work at it, if you want to do any part of what I discovered along the way of going back, of working my way back into perfect final union with the ocean, with God, then you can do that, and you can actually have self-realization within this life, which means you can grow that seed of true enlightenment into self-realization. Now, what is self-realization? It means that you can know 99% that you and the ocean are not separate but are one while you're still living in the body. Now, 1% is reserved for after you leave the body. There's nothing you can do about that. But you can get 99% of the way there. You can be certain in your heart and in your mind that you are not this body alone. You're not this mind alone. You're not these thoughts alone. You're not this string of experiences that reaches back into childhood or birth alone. You're not these pains. You're not these traumas. You're not these lusts or compulsions or repulsions. You are, in fact, that ocean. And you can know that. Now, you can't know it fully until you don't have a body anymore. And I don't know that you're ready for that. Just shooting yourself in the head isn't going to do it. A lot of people shoot themselves in the head. Believe me, it is not a viable way to get back to the ocean. Some people follow a path and they get there. It's long and it's arduous. Terribly long and terribly arduous. But if you want to develop self-realization in this life, if that's important to you, if it's important to you to be able to get up in the morning and know, I am pure, divine, universal spirit, which is one with that ocean of God. Fire can't burn me. Swords can't cut me. Cold can't freeze me. Even an atomic bomb, I laugh in the face of it because it can't touch me. Oh, it'll touch my body, it'll disintegrate it, but I'll still be standing here laughing at you. And death, that forbidden word in our culture, somehow loses its sting. It's not that you want to do it. In fact, you become better able to survive. What happens is that the fear of it dissipates. And the more you know who you really are, the more you know that you are not just the drop, but you are the ocean. The more you know that you're not just the wave, but that you are the sea that the wave occurs upon, the better you can live in this world. Now, there's two people here. One person has been with me 30 years, another for 24 years, and they have enlightenment. They have self-realization. They don't always know it. Because of the way our minds are constructed, it's not always sitting right there in front of your face. But they have it. People say, well, how many people have achieved this? Oh, I don't know. Everybody in this immediate community has. But if you ask them on a certain moment when they're frustrated, trying to drive on the San Diego freeway at rush hour, they might say, I don't have any self-realization. But it's not true. They haven't. And they began it by receiving this seed of true enlightenment through my holy initiation. Now, there's two parts to that. First of all, you have to make the commitment, and that's how you receive this seed of true enlightenment. And then you have to receive what is called consecration. Now, how do you receive consecration? But to receive consecration, you sit quietly. Some people would call it meditating. Some would call it contemplating. Others might call it praying. You sit quietly, and instead of talking all the time you're praying, just sit quietly and call upon me to become present and active within what I call the secret inner sanctuary of your heart. I'm not talking about the thing that pumps. I'm talking about the thing where you live in this body. You always have. The secret inner sanctuary of your heart. And we will meet up in that spiritual realm. And I will come to you and I will ask you to make a threefold vow. That you will preserve, practice, and propagate this way, this faith. You can even call it a religion if you want to, if that doesn't scare you out the door. In all of its purity, as I give it to you. You won't pervert it, you won't distort it, you won't use it for your own personal gain. You won't take God's name in vain, as they say. People do it all the time. When my friend tells me that I'm a liar, he's taking God's name in vain. Because he's blaming it on God. It's funny, God never told me I was a liar. In fact, he told me I wasn't, if you want to put it that way. And when I say he, I mean, it says up here, there's one universal God, manifest and unmanifest, personal and impersonal, immanent and transcendent. So you can think of God as manifest, personal, and immanent. Or you can think of God as unmanifest, impersonal, and transcendent. And both are wrong. And yet both are right. Because God is both manifest and unmanifest, immanent and transcendent, and personal and impersonal all at the same time. That ocean is that. And we are that. You are that. That's what this means. Om Soham Tatvamasi. Om, the ocean. Soham, I am that. Tatvamasi, you are that. And then we say Jai Bhagwanji, which means victory to that beloved universal ocean. I am that I am what you are. So you see, I don't teach a path. Well, I have a path, I'll teach it to you. I can teach you a lot of things. Been around, done a lot of things. Got a bachelor's degree in psychology, a master's degree in behavioral science, marriage, family therapy license. Studied a lot of things in my life. I'll teach you anything I can that you want to learn. But that's not the point. This is not a path to follow. This is a gift to receive and a seed to grow within you. And if you grow it properly, it will go from being a seed to a tree. You know, have you ever seen a mustard seed? It's the most amazing thing. Mustard seeds are little tiny things that's so small I can't even, well, maybe I can make it when you can't see it. But they're little tiny things. They grow to be huge, huge trees. Huge trees. So you see, you can grow this into a tree of enlightenment within you. There's only one tree that we don't want. You can grow any kind of tree you want. The only tree we don't want is the bigot tree. You can't grow it into a bigot tree. If you grow it into a bigot tree, it's not the right thing. You got it somewhere else. Free will, free choice, self-determinism, individual freedom, absolute inescapable personal responsibility. This is the Maitreyan sign. It spells freedom right across it. You must respect the freedom of other people. You can present this to people. You should. Because it is in giving it that you grow it within yourself. It's so simple. People say, what do I have to do? What kind of mystical act do I have to perform to grow this seed into true enlightenment, into self-realization in this world? It's too simple. You don't want to hear it. You don't want to know it. Because it's too simple. All you have to do is give it to other people. Now, some slick characters are going to say, well, that's a path. Give me a break. Come on. You know, if that's a path, falling off a flight of stairs is a path. You can say anything you want. But that is all that you have to do to grow this seed of true enlightenment into self-realization within this life. In order to develop it fully and completely into complete, perfect final union with God, Brahma, Allah, Vishnu, Shiva, the ocean, Paratpara, or just simply God, is to do what was said at the time this gift was given to me, which is to receive it and follow me to the end of your life. Oh, that's dangerous. Oh, that's dangerous. We all know about Jim Jones. We all know about Charlie Manson. And by the way, didn't he have long hair? We all know about David Koresh. He didn't have long hair. Neither did Jim Jones, come to think of it. How come the short-haired guys did more damage than the long-haired guy? Isn't that kind of weird? I'm not supporting any of them, but let's get over this, okay? Yes. We all know about them. That's 3, maybe 4. Oh, we know about the comet people that decided to kill themselves so they could get on the comet. Amen. That's quite a boarding pass, I'll tell you. I don't think we need to do that. So that's 4, maybe 5 that I can think of in my lifetime out of 7 billion people on the planet. So yes, there were those people. This is not one of them. Yeah. Yes, it's a little dangerous to follow somebody because they ask you to follow them blindly and stupidly. I don't ask anybody to follow me blindly and stupidly. I don't like stupid followers. Now, stupid is not a derogatory term. There's 2 states of knowledge. One is ignorance, and the other is stupidity. Ignorance is not knowing. Nothing wrong with ignorance as long as when you discover it in yourself, you try to remedy it. Stupidity is knowing what's the right thing and doing the wrong thing anyway. Stupidity is knowing what's the wrong thing and doing the wrong thing anyway. That's stupid. So that's what I mean when I say stupid. I don't like stupid followers. I don't want stupid followers. If it weren't for the fact that that is the way God set it up when He gave me the gift, I wouldn't want followers at all. I'm not here to be followed. But that's the way it's set up. So if you want the prize, you have to do the dance. pretty easy dance to do. And people will say, well, okay, how do I follow you? Define it. Define how I follow you. I can't do that. That is between you and God. I know this, and I will tell you this, that you do not follow me by doing harm to any other human being or doing harm to yourself. The minute you do that, you are not following me. Now, I recognize that there are times. If a guy comes into your house, a couple guys kick your door in, and they're going to rape your wife and daughter, kill your son, and shoot your dog, you may have to actually pull out your blunderbuss and dispatch them to hell. Do not say, Maitreya told me to do that. Do not say, God told me to do that. That is your free will decision, and you have to take responsibility for it. There's a great story about a Quaker. And Quakers are notoriously peaceful people. And a guy came to the door of the Quaker's house, and it was raining, and he said, my horse broke down. Actually, didn't have cars. My horse died, and I don't have any place to stay. So they said, well, come on in. You know, we'll take care of you. They got him dry. They got him some fresh clothes, and they fed him dinner. Did all of the wonderful things that Quakers did, being peaceful folks. And so they all went to bed, and about 2 o'clock in the morning, this old farmer hears ting, 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 ting. He goes, what's that? So he grabs his blunderbuss, his shotgun, and he goes walking downstairs, and there's this guy putting their silverware into a bag. He's a thief. So the farmer leveled off his shotgun and said, Sir, I would not hurt thee for the world, but thee are standing where I am about to shoot. Obviously, the guy dropped the bag and ran out into the rain. Now, he could have had a nice place to sleep if he just left these folks in peace. So, I'm not saying there will never come a time when you have to go to war. I'm not saying that there will never come a time when you'll have to defend yourself or your family or your neighbors or a weaker person. And you might have to hurt somebody to do that. But I tell you this, neither I nor God will ever tell you or direct you to hurt yourself or any other human being. That's your decision. And you got to take responsibility for it. Oh, how much more a peaceful world we'd have if people only knew that and do that. That's not good English, but it works out. Knew it and do it. You know? Because if people knew that they had to take full personal responsibility for hurting another person or killing another person or stealing from another person, then there'd be a lot less of it. Oh, there'd always be somebody who'd do it. Free will. Free will. And this, you know, these things are always in competition here. There'd be people who would do it. But there'd be far fewer. And there would be none of this stuff of, God said you don't agree with me, so I'm going to burn you at the stake. That's not God. Listen, folks. God doesn't tell anybody to cut anybody's head off. God doesn't tell anybody to burn anybody at the stake. God doesn't tell anybody to crucify anybody. If God wants you gone, you're gone. That's how He puts you here. He can take you out. God can take out a whole galaxy like that. You mean you think He can't take you out if He wants you gone? You think He can't take your neighbor or somebody of another faith out if He wants them gone? Like that, whole galaxy, poof, gone. And you're not even a blip on the radar screen compared to a galaxy. So you don't think He can do that Himself without your intervention, without your sword or your gun or your burning stake or your crucifix or something? Who do you think you are? Now that's taking God's name in vain. No, neither God nor I will ever guide you to harm another human being, not even an animal, or yourself. Now, if you're lost in the forest, if the society collapses and you're out there and your family has nothing to eat and you have to shoot a poor little rabbit in order to get food, God's not going to hold that against you. God's not going to hold that against you, but you're going to have to stand the karma for doing that. And if it's your, what are you going to do? Stand the karma for killing the rabbit, or are you going to stand the karma for starving your family? Take your choice.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just not good choices, you know. Sometimes it's the lesser of two evils. And so, this is what I have for you. I am not a teacher of a path. I have a path. I know how I found my way back home in a perfect final union with God. Believe me, you don't want to follow it. You can follow it. If you're really strong, you can follow it. How desperate can you be? See, everybody who comes here, I didn't see it on the faces. You too. Where's the inspiration? I came here for inspiration. And this guy's telling me all this stuff. I'm going to go out of here more depressed than I came in. You know, maybe that's a good thing. We do not get home to God through inspiration. Sorry, folks. I wish it was that way. I wish it was all sitars and incense and tablas and beautiful clothes dancing in the park. I wish it was. I enjoyed that time myself, by the way. But that is not how we transcend this physical, mental, personality-bound, material-bound body and touch God. There's only one thing that's needed, and that's desperation. How desperate could you possibly be? Only way I made it the second time was I exhausted every other possibility and got to the point where I was desperate enough that I would sit there and die or find God, find the ocean again. And when that desperation became hot enough, peak enough, amazing enough, I found the way home. Because desperation is the way home. So you can take one of two ways. I leave it up to you. One of two ways. You can take the way that I found. You can take desperation. Oh, it's a rugged road, though. It's like climbing a mountain with bare feet and bare hands. It's a rough road. It took me losing everything to get to that point. The last thing I lost was my mentor and guardian of 23 years. He died. Died of lung cancer. And that was it. I had nothing left to live for, nothing left to lose. And so, I found the door of desperation. This is not unique, you know, to self-realization. This is not unique to transcending this world and going back into the ocean of God. I was talking to a priest today, a very nice man, and we were talking about alcoholics, and my dad was an alcoholic. And I said, the reason my dad never got over being an alcoholic is because he never fell far enough to hit bottom. And unless you fall far enough to hit bottom, you don't have the desperation necessary to transcend this curse of alcoholism. Any of you out there who've ever experienced it, you know what I mean. It's desperation that pulls a man up out of being an alcoholic. It's desperation that takes a coward and makes him stand up and fight for his family and defeat crooks and rapists and burglars and evil. It's not inspiration. I'm so inspired, I think I'll grab my gun and I'll just go out and I'll shoot it out with these guys that are trying to kill my family. Come on. Please. Don't make me blow my cover. Don't make me talk like a street person or something. It just irritates me. It's desperation. So you can take the path of desperation if you want. I'll show you how to do it. I'll even walk a little bit of the ways with you. But don't start it if you're not willing to finish it. Because once you start down that road, there's no turning back. Or you can do what God has given to me to give to you. You can receive my holy initiation. You can receive my holy consecration within your heart. You can make your threefold vow. I can give you the 4 treasures. And I'll also give you a new name at that time, which only you will know. I have arranged it so that even if you come to me and say, do you know my new name? I'm going to say no. You'll never know whether I know or not, because I won't tell you. But it's yours. And you will reveal it in a timely fashion to other people who have the same gift that you have. And then your privilege, your glory, your true inspiration is to go out and give this gift to others. Along with those 4 treasures. You can figure out what the 4 treasures are later. One of them is the seed of true enlightenment. The other is my ordination and God's ordination to pass this holy initiation and true enlightenment on to others. I'll leave one of them out, just to pique your curiosity. And so, I know you came here tonight thinking you're going to get a lesson in how to walk the path. Believe me, if you want to know how to walk the path, I'll teach you the path of desperation. But if you want to go along the easy way, if you want to go along the way that God gave me to give to you and to all souls, then just receive my holy initiation. Accept it into your heart. Find me in your heart and receive and make the threefold vow that I will preserve, practice, and propagate your way, Maitreya, the Friend's way, which some people call Adhyatma Yoga Dharma, some people call it God's eternal universal religion, in all of its purity as you have given it to us. And at that point, I will consecrate you in spirit, and I will give you your Maitreyan spiritual name. And then you can go out and change your name if you want to. Or you can keep it secret and only you share it among other Maitreyans. But then you have this duty. You have this blessing. You have this privilege to go out and pass this to others. How do you grow it in yourself? How do you achieve it within yourself? So simple. You don't have to become so desperate that you're willing to die or seek the truth. All you have to do is share it with others. Because as you give it to others, it grows within you. It is giving that you receive. And when you've received enough, you will attain self-realization within this life. And if you have done this, if you followed me to the end of your life according to, and let me just use the word God because it's short, according to God's new covenant that He made through me with you and with all souls, then at the end of this life, instead of going back onto the wheel and living another life of birth, life, fear, pain, suffering, sickness, old age, death, and rebirth, you will go home into the ocean of God, never to be reborn, to suffer, to die, or know these horrors again. Now this falls on deaf ears in the United States so much because we have it so good. It's probably falling on deaf ears right now because you have it so good. You go, I don't need this. I got Monday night football. You know, I got all the sex I want. I can go out to the bars. I'm a good-looking guy or I'm a good-looking gal. I've got a great job. I drive a Mercedes. Brother, sister, when the moment of truth arrives, none of that will mean a thing. You say, yeah, but I don't have to mess with that now. I can wait. I can wait. Well, let me ask you this. You're going to drive tonight or today sometime. Are you going to have an accident? No, I don't think so. I'm not going to have an accident. Then why do you have insurance?
Yeah.
If you're not going to have an accident, why do you have insurance? Well, because in case I have one. Then that's the same thing here. Receive this gift in case I'm right. Receive this gift in case I am real. Receive this gift in case I am true. You don't know for sure whether I'm right, real, or true. Well, my friend, he doesn't know whether I'm false either. It's just that I don't jive with his recollections in his book and his theology and philosophy. So I got to be wrong, false, you know. But just in case, I don't care if you have a burning belief in me or not when you come and take this. Just take it. Grow it. Give it. Grow it. It will prove itself to you. if you do what's necessary. But don't come and take this and then go out there and do nothing or just think about it or something like that, and then come back and say, didn't work for me. If it didn't work for you, it's because you didn't work for it. If it didn't work for you, it's because you didn't work for it. Now this is the easy way. It's easier than chanting a mantra even. Oh, we do have something called inner divine communion, which is beyond meditation. It's a way of immersing yourself in the ocean for a time and then coming back to this world cleansed, purified to a degree. And to which degree depends on how much you're willing to give away of yourself when you immerse yourself in the ocean of God. That will grow with time. But in essence, all you have to do to grow this within yourself is to give it to others. And help others to receive this consecration. And then perhaps you might even want to be part of a community. Some will and some won't. It's not mandatory. But if you do, then you have to have what's called confirmation. You have to profess this before at least 2 or 3 other Maitreyans and be accepted into the community. That's up to you. I just want you to have it. And I want you to grow it. I want you to know in this lifetime that you are not just a body, a mind, a personality, or a set of experiences, but that you are the ocean of God behind your eyes. Because it'll change everything. It'll change, oh, you'll still have road rage. But in a way that can't be described, it changes everything. Somebody asked me if I could walk on water. I said, yeah, if it's on concrete. I do it every time it rains. See, those things are not part of this way. This is a gift that I have for you. So we have these 2 things. We have the path, which is difficult, backbreaking, heart-rending, mind-bending, but it'll get you there if you follow it. And we have the gift. I will give you the path if you want, but I would rather give you the gift. Because I know that you probably will not complete the path unless you're a very, very unusual person. I also know that you will complete the gift. You will collect the gift easily if you put any effort into it at all. And the only effort you have to do is you have to just go to somebody and say, with your hand open like this, not shoving it down their throat, with your hand open like this and say, this is the gift that Maitreya, the friend of all souls, won from God. I've got it in my heart. I have the power and the authority of the Maitreya and of Paratpara, the one universal God, to give it to you. Do you want it? If you do, I'll give it to you. If you don't, peace be with you. Be on your way. How about you? Do you want it? No? I understand. How about you? Do you want it? Yes, you want it. Here, take it. And in giving it, you grow it. This is something you can do. God wanted me to find the way home to Him, that all souls could travel. I thought I found it when I got there through desperation. But you see, after getting back into the perfect final union with the ocean of God, the second time, after I made it back there, He asked me to come back here again. And I was so moved, so filled with compassion for all souls, that I made this vow to God. It's called the vow of compassion for that reason. I said, Father, I will never again take my own perfect final union with you until I have seen every last soul in this creation home safely into perfect final union with you before me. But I will return to this world and live out my life in this ordinary body as an ordinary man. And then at the end of this life, I will ascend into the spirit realm, near to you, but not quite one with you, and live in the heart of every soul, guiding every soul home to you. And because of that vow, and because I had sacrificed my own perfect final union with Him twice, He said, because of these things, I will make this new covenant with all souls, with man. That whoever receives the true enlightenment of your holy initiation and follows you to the end of his or her life, I will give that soul what you sacrificed for the sake of all souls, which is exactly, precisely, namely, perfect final union with me. God said this. And so I bring this gift. I will give you the path that I used to get back into perfect final union with him if you wish. But I would rather give you the gift, because I thought that my desperation was the way. But it wasn't. It was my self-sacrifice. And it was my supreme self-sacrifice of giving up perfect final union with God and my vow of compassion that became the way that all souls can return home into perfect final union with God. This is the enlightenment. This is the seed of true enlightenment. Receive it. Have it consecrated. When you have your Maitreyan spiritual name, then you can even seek out membership in the holy community if you wish. If not, at least go out and give it to others. It's in the giving of it to others that you follow me. It's in the giving of it to others that you grow it within yourself. And every time you give it, it gets bigger within you. Every time you give it, it gets more complete within you. Every time you give it, you grow just that much more closer to knowing your true nature as one and identical with God, and to completing this amazing new covenant of going home into perfect final union with God at the end of your life. If the last thing that you ever do in this world is to give this gift to somebody before you breathe your last breath, do that. Because I guarantee you, beyond all doubt, without any reservation, that will take you home into perfect final union with God. With Parabra, Allah, Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva, Yahweh, the ocean, the totality of all, Nirvana. Call it what you will. This is the simple way. As I said, I thought I found the way by my desperation, but actually I found the way by my self-sacrifice and my compassion. So self-sacrifice and compassion are part of this way. How do you exercise self-sacrifice and compassion? You don't have to give up your spirituality like I did. You don't have to give up your perfect final union with God like I did. All you have to do is share it with others. That's all I ask. And what is the qualifying thing? It's so simple. That you will do all that you can, the best that you can, to share this gift with others. Every time you do, I guarantee you, it may not happen to you right at the moment that you do it, it may. It may happen to you a couple days later. It may even be a month later. But all of a sudden, you're going to notice that you have this big boost in your own spirituality, your own self-confidence in your true nature. So, come and take the easy way home to God. Om Soham Tetramasi. Om, you and I are one with the one universal God of all creation and no other. Jai Bhagavanji, victory to God the Beloved, that beloved universal I am that I am, which you are.
Jai Bhagavanji.
All victory and glory to God the Beloved.
All victory and glory to God the Beloved.